Hello. Let's see here. All right, that's better. I always like to have 1 year off. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. I will play this a little bit. Maybe we'll do some vintage story modding. I'm not sure, or at least look at like vintage story to maybe figure out the Hytale mod. Figure, you know, a block game for block game. You know, I could play some blocks down, kind of map out some ideas. Yeah. Give it a try. But I wanted to play this a little bit. I wanna see what it's gonna take to expand the mess that I made. Have a feeling that I've made some mistakes. But we'll see. Time will tell. See, you would think like this would be something. Whoops. But I think that's just regular stone. Alright, what do we got? What do we got here? Alright, so that's my ignum deposit. Not too shabby. Jump. Oh god, I'm remembering what I did. I'm starting to remember what I did. Oh, Vice. Oh, Vice. What are we even researching here? Ore refinement. I mean, why would I need explosives? I could always queue it up. I mean, what else? Ore scanner, mineral rock. Probably want that. Concrete production. Let's go for it. Resource separator. Ooh. That could be good. There we go. Got more stuff queued up. Oh, God. What I really need is to find, like, another couple deposits close to each other. And then just trying, like, for a new factory. That's what I gotta do. This ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna break all this up, and I'm just going to make another platform off to the side. Maybe that's what I gotta do. And then I can get some miners set up, and then just kind of move things over to the new platform, and maybe go from there. Maybe. That was weird. I was able to walk right into that. Can't do it again? Oh, yeah. There's a part here where, yeah, your collision box is, probably should be a little bigger. There we go. And I'll just kind of extend this out, and the platform will be over here. That's what's gonna happen. That's what we're gonna do. Gonna break all this crap. It's beautiful. My new start. Not sure how long I'm going to play this. I may end up making the platform, and then I really want to start like mapping out the Hytale mod. I think this time with the mod, it's gonna be more like the Botania mod from Minecraft. I think that's what I'm gonna do. There we go. Big old platform. I'm kind of running low. There we go. We'll grab more because I'm making this stuff now. 8,000. Hot diggity dog. There we go. There, I'll kind of wrap around here. Because I don't think I can move that. There we go. Get my platform. Hey, Bernardo. Did you get good? I don't know. It kind of sounds like you gotta get good these days. Yes, I am getting good. And it is good. It ain't easy, huh? When there's boots on the other foot. Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna be doing this for a little bit. Not sure how long. I really want to start like coming up with mod ideas for the Hytale magic mod. Really want to start tackling that. And I think what I'm gonna do is I think I have an idea of like how I'm gonna handle mana. And I gotta start mapping out what the gameplay loop is, and I think after I know how mana's gonna, how mana's gonna act, how the gameplay loop is going to go, then I can start thinking about like what do the spells mean at that point, right? Am I gonna use the, the same kind of like spell system where it's like you can learn multiple spells? You kind of sneak and scroll through to like pick your spell, like that kind of thing. Are spells going to live on the player, or do they live on the item? I think they're going to be living on the item. Things like that, like the important stuff that I gotta start figuring out. There we go. Look at that. Look at Mighty Fine. There we go. We'll kind of make stairs. There we go. That's looking good. I'm good, thanks. Still struggling, solve that issue. And but stuck on another thing now. It's how it always is, man. It's a moving target. It's how it always is. You fix one problem, like I feel like the maid sometimes. Like I just clean this place. You guys dirty up all the dishes again. Can it just stay clean, please? So, yeah, these need to come over to here. So I think I want to set up like 2 more miners right here. And then I can set up 2 more miners here. I can kind of bring them in to like here. And then I would have this whole area as my canvas. And I think what I'm going to start to do is look at like the basic components. See? And then just start making some stuff that I use a lot, right? Like, basically I'm going to need like machinery parts, right? I'm going to need, wire coils and electric components. And then when I set up like optimized factories for those, then I can start creating, some of the special stuff that I need a lot of. Really, it's going to be like the conveyors, the loaders, both loader types. I think there's, I thought there was something else. Oh wait, advanced machinery part. I'm going to have to start doing the advanced machinery part, but I'm going to need steel beams, which means I need to get steel production up. I think for steel, I need ignum. Great job unlocking blueprints for faster belts and assemblers. But that's my current ignum deposit. It's actually getting kind of low. Lower than I would like. So I'm gonna have to do something about that too. Really gonna have to do something about that. Kind of sucks actually. Kind of sucks. You know what? There was an ignum deposit, I believe. I thought it was somewhere around here. Wait, was it? No, that's not it. So I'm looking for the red. Okay, it was over here, right? So I have ignum there. I have technum. I have more ignums. So I think what I could do is like attach things to the grid here and start pulling from there over to the main factory. Although this may not be the main factory. I think this is just going to be like where I make parts, and then I want my main factory to be like over the water, I think. We'll have the Technum deposit there. I have that extra Xenoferrite. So like this area right here would be pretty good. I'm thinking I'll take like 2 big chunks here. Take 2 really big chunks. Tried to explore a little bit, but not really finding anything good. Oh, this was the part I was thinking about. Right here to right here, where they're both close. It's that's gonna be a lot of blocks. It's gonna be a lot. Maybe this would have to be its own separate power grid. And I haven't found, you know, I could try going north. The problem is these are all mountains. The mountains kind of suck. But I got that Xenoferrite. I could start importing stuff. You know what? You know what I want to do? Instead of playing this, I want to work on the mod. I'm going to get the mod ideas going a little bit, and then I can come back to this. There we go. Let's just pull up Rustbound Magic. Hey Bernardo, what IDE do you use? Do you use IntelliJ? I think I'm gonna converge onto IntelliJ for Java. All right, did I build? Yes. IntelliJ idea, yeah. Nice. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Seems like it's the best for Java. And let's just go into the test world. You know what? Let's not go into a test world. I'm gonna create a new world. I'm gonna call this Hytale Magic Mod Ideas. This is going to be creative building. And I got a text document here. Well, starting to type up some stuff here. So I think my core magic mod here is going to be based off of Botania. I like the idea, not in the sense of like the theme with the flowers, but like the mechanics of it. I like the idea of making a magic system this time that isn't tied to like player specific, but like everything exists in the world. I think that's what I'm gonna go for. So, you know, I like the idea of like Botania, right? Like, you know, with that you get the flowers, you get the petals, you know, you start, you put down certain generators for the flowers, right? You can collect the mana that it like creates. I like all of that. But, you know, just substitute flowers. I'm gonna kind of blend it with Rustbound a little bit with some of the stuff. But I gotta like sketch it all out. Tuba. There, none. Kind. None. Stubble. There we go. There's my character. Class, you know what? Let's go Rust Mage. Let's channel the Rust Mage. But do you have the game or mod, or are you gonna make it standalone for now? You mean Hytale? You mean Hytale? Do I have Hytale? No one has Hytale right now. Well, I guess whatever their internal testing team, they have it. We will do vintage story here, and as soon as I update this, there we go. Coming up with mod ideas for my Hytale Magic mod. Perfect. So yeah, so really, it's what I'm making right now. This is just kind of like the game's going to be a visual aid for me. and kind of where I'm gonna brainstorm, because the biggest thing, the biggest drawback is going to be having an idea of like how the systems are gonna work, right? Like that's the big thing. If I have an outline of like how things are gonna work and like item names and what the items do, like a description of the items and you know what the gameplay loop is going to look like, Bernardo, I could burn out a mod super fast. The thing that takes me so long most of the time is the lack of planning, because I'll do something and it looks okay until it all starts to, you know, have to work together, right? And then I have to rewrite this, rewrite that, expand this idea. If I just go into it with an actual idea, then I don't have to do all these rewrites. I can just write the code, you know, the first time, get it 90% of the way there, and then just keep building on something that's stable. So that's what I'm gonna focus on here. And that way, when I get everything together and I actually get the game, good to go, off to the races. Hey, man, away. I was actually serious about necromancy-based Magitech. Yeah? How good are you at programming? I am too. I definitely want. I want to come up with a magic system. Like, I want it to feel unique, but I want to keep some of the cool stuff that Hytale is going to be doing. And that's kind of why I want to map this stuff out. So for a gameplay loop, I'm going to assume that it's going to be more similar to, I mean, I guess you could say Minecraft or Vintage Story. Just for Vintage Story, take out the rifts that spawn, right? There are no random rifts, so I can't really use the same system that Rustbound Magic has, like where, you know, you get Rift Bloom seeds from the rifts, you put them down, blah blah blah, right? Like I can't really do anything like that. I could still use Rift Bloom though as like a plant idea. So let's pull up a document here, right? I started to write some stuff. Let's make a section here for items / blocks, right? A subcategory, plants. We'll just say plants, right? Maybe as if tree generation. I mean, it can't be worse than fucking Vintage Story. Like, it can't be worse. Let's come up with some trees. Let's just say, I hate when it auto does that stuff. Let's say, all right, whatever. Just have it like that. I'll make Whisper Wood for a tree type. All right, and we'll say tree. And this I guess will just be like a magical tree. Provides, we'll say magic wood. Right, just a placeholder name for now, right? A Whisperwood tree. I probably should have more than one kind of tree. Do I want to take from the unreleased one? Do I want like Hydramere? Maybe I could do maybe Hydramere. Right, this could also be a tree. Another magical tree. Maybe like a tier 2 better magic wood, right? Something like that. Plants, right? I mean, if we want to get into plants, I could reuse Rift Bloom. I actually really like the idea of a Rift Bloom. Right, and this is just going to be like a just a plant, maybe / flower. I'll say like provides primary like resource, maybe some kind of like some kind of dust, right? / Or maybe some kind of dust, right? Maybe some kind of dust. Some, like a basic, like, primary component, right? An entry-level primary component. I don't know if I really need any other, like, plants, because this isn't going to be, like, plant-based, but I would like to have some stuff in the world. Yeah. Rude. We might need to wait until we can actually see how Hytale magic system actually works. I actually don't, Manaway. I don't, because I decided, I had a run this morning, right? I was outside. I got actually almost about 7,500 steps. It was a pretty good journey outside. But it got me, I started thinking about the mod, right? Like how I want magic to be represented. I'm going to use Botania as a foundation. I like the idea because I don't want to add any kind of player magic, knowing that they are going to come out with like specific player mana, like a player mana system. Like they said it's not coming in at launch, but it is confirmed. You know, like the way like the staff and stuff, like they're gonna have a magic system. Knowing that it's player magic, I can now stay away from that. And it kind of goes with my idea of like a big issue with Rustbound Magic was like your max mana. Like it's a cool idea being able to like get better through spell casting. But the problem with that is, you know, some people don't like the grind. It's really hard to balance, right? Like, you know, I have like the meditation insight and all these different ways to do it, but because I have so many different ways, you could easily like log in, your buddy could have a row of stuff, you know, for you to like do the meditation with, and you could walk away with like almost 200 mana, right? At that point, it's like, why even, you know, like you should still put on mage armor, but Jesus Christ, you have so much mana. So my idea for the mana, I actually have it up here. It's gonna be, like I said, like Botania. Take all the flower stuff out. It's gonna be like world living item kind of attached mana. So your staff, when you cast a spell, isn't going to be taking from your player mana pool. It's going to be taking from the stored mana that's charged in that staff, right? If I'm gonna make mana tools. You know, you will be able to like repair and you know, like, you know, mend these mana tools with this mana system, and mana is going to exist in the world as a liquid, right? So, and that's going to be what powers your machines and stuff, right? So for the gameplay loop, now knowing that I'm going to be staying away from you having your mana and you being out of mana and having to chug something to like, this staff is out, right? You know, I got this one here. This one has this set of spells on it, because since I'm not going to be going on your player, I'm going to be saving your spells on your staff, right? So I envision, you know, like a workbench or something that you go to and you like place your staff onto it, right? You hang it up, and then, you know, you can charge it with the mana that it needs. You can swap spells out on it. That way you can have multiple staves with different builds on them. Right, and then maybe some staffs could be specific. I like the idea of also bringing in the attunement system. I want you to, like, if you want to be a necromancer and you want to do like dark magic, I want you to like attune to the dark magic, right? And then have those kind of spells as your build out. So that's what I'm thinking now, and I'm thinking of toolkits, right? So if you're a necromancer, you should be getting the spells of like, you know, summon skeleton, drain life, poison, right? Slow, you know, like the, you know, maybe feign death, you know, like a corpse explosion, that kind of toolkit, right? And I want you to feel like a dark mage, right? If you go fire, right, then I want you to have the, you know, that's going to be more boom bang explosion. So, you know, again, you attune to fire, right? Now, you know, maybe fire sources don't hurt you, you know, like maybe, you know, you got fireball, you got ignite, you know, maybe fireball can hit an enemy and then spawn things like fire, right, that will exist. And then maybe because there's the Q attack, maybe that could be like Cataclysm or Explosion, which will look to see how many fires are around the target, use up all the fire and all the dots on the target to cause an explosion. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like Fire Mage and WoW, you know? Like Hot Streak and, you know, Pyroblast and, you know what I mean? Like things that just kind of nuke things. And then maybe for like Druid magic, right? Maybe that could be more like, oh, you know, it's going to be like, hey, you know, you have some animal forms, but maybe there's also healing there too. You know, kind of like WoW. You know, like I can make things totally like that. But I want you to feel like you are that class. Like I don't want you to be like, well, I'm going to get Summon Skeleton over here. I'm going to get the best heal spell from over there, right? Because then people aren't going to use like the toolkit. They'll be making their own, which is going to be all the best parts of, you know, every idea that I'm going to be putting in. Right, so that's the direction that I want to go in, right? Magic doesn't exist on you, you know, and that also means that if, you know, you want to give your buddy a staff, they don't need to have the, you know, magic attunement, or, you know, not magic attunement, but, you know, they don't need to, like, they don't need to make that staff. They could pick it up and then, like, activate it because it's charged, right? At that point, it's just them, like, using it. But I don't know if attunement's gonna mean, like, yeah, you know, like maybe attunement means that those spells, you know, take less, they take less mana from your tools, and maybe they're more efficient. You know, if I attune to darkness, right, or, you know, the dark attribute, or whatever I call it, the dark mana, and, you know, maybe my summon skeleton comes with more health. Maybe, like, you know, the cost of all the stuff on the staves is reduced, right? So I can still, like, I need to map that stuff out now, because if I can do that now, I'm gonna make this mod pretty quick. So I can, you know, start getting stuff together. Start making some models, right? Because if I know I need trees, I'm gonna, you know, I know what models I'm gonna need to start making. You know, how's wood gonna look? So let's see. So that's plants. I'll do general here. General. I'll just say question mark, like dust. Right, some kind of dust. Core component of early magic. All right, some kind of core component of early magic, some kind of dust. Let's go down to, I'm gonna need some kind of like a generator. I think I'm gonna reuse the obelisk. I really like the obelisk. I like the obelisk idea. Right, so I'm gonna say obelisk. This is gonna be here. I'm gonna flag it here. Block. This will be item. Right, and then this, it's gonna work like vintage stories. So I'll say, like, think mana furnace. For now, let's say we'll burn coal into in-world magic, or and not magic essence, I'll just call it in-world mana. I may end up changing the name from mana. Maybe I will call it essence, just because there won't be any conflict with, like, your player mana. Right? Or maybe I could call it mana, so I could call it, like, I could call it essence, world mana, magica, right? I could come up with a specific name for it. And I'll say, here, I'm gonna create another part here. I'll say main magic stations. There we go. I think the obelisk should be in a main magic station, right? Let's say craft with maybe stone. See, now this is where I need to think. Do you make this magic station with magic items, or is this going to be something that you make with all default base game stuff, and then this is the bridge that gets you into doing things with magic? Because like the way Botania does it, right? You get the random flowers, you get the petals. What you make the one like main flower that you put down, and then as you put down other things, like what is it, a daisy or something, a true daisy, and then you put like stone around it, like you place stone around it, you place wood around it, and then it converts it to like the living stone and the living wood, and then that is your foundation for things, right? That is your main foundation. So what kind of onboarding, right? How do I get you from not doing anything in the mod to starting to accumulate mod items? I think the obelisk should be like a second step, right? That should be like a step 2. There should be something before that. Wow, spamming twice. Later, dick. Boom, gone. I wish you could just like anyone, they like, this is the thing. But we'll talk about the spammers for a bit, right? It knows, like Twitch knows, likely ban evader, restricted, right? It has something like that. Why can't I just say if they are likely a ban evader, don't let them chat in my chat? Like, how is that so hard to do? You know, like I've tried to look for that and I haven't found anything like that. Like, stupid. Twitch, you don't listen to anyone, but if you could do that, it would make me happy and my 2 viewers. So ideas. How do you onboard? Let me think of like other mods, right? Let's look at other mods. There's that Electro Blobs like wizardry thing. But that gameplay loop is basically you going into like dungeons and getting dungeon loot to like find your spells, right? You're not making your spells really. Or at least. Yeah. Like, I have some ideas, right? I have some avenues. I could have, like, some kind of, whatever this entry-level dust item is, I could have it to where it drops when you mine something, right? Like, it could be a drop chance from mining stone, right? It could just be, like, in the stone pool. It could be, I could do something like processing flowers, right? And then you can extract, like, magic essence if you make a mortar and pestle or something and grind it up. I can make a magic water, but then I'm relying on special world gen to see if you get magic water. But I mean, I could have something in the beginning where maybe you make magic water. No, I don't want to do that, but it is an idea. I don't want to make magic water because then that kind of defeats the purpose of you having this other distilled kind of magic, you know, like mana in the world. In one resource block of, like, you know, magic essence. So I don't want to do that. I could do some kind of, like, maybe it's a dust that you make. And then you could throw it on things, right? Because that's how you get, like, the workbench, I think, in... Crap, what was it? Thaumcraft or Ars Magica, maybe one of those. Like, I distinctly remember having, like, the magic dust, and then, like, throwing it, like, the particles out, and then it would, you know, turn the table, like, the craft table into, like, your magic craft table. Like, what's the best way to onboard? Assuming that, you know, the game is going to be like Minecraft, right? Like, I assume that it's going to have, you know, maybe, or Vintage Story, right? There's going to be different tiers of material. We don't know what tier 1's going to be. You know, we're gonna have plants, we're gonna have animals. I don't want to rely on animal drops, but maybe some of the creatures like skeletons, I mean, they could absolutely drop, you know, the residual dust or whatever I call this as like a supplementary thing, right? But how do I want to go about this? This is a problem. And this is the stuff that I got to figure out before I even, you know, should make a magic mod. Like, I need to know this now. It's kind of important. Yeah, and I had an idea up here for, like, a main generator. And then, you know, and I could also go the route of, like, a specialty generator. So I could make different types of mana, or different types of essence, and you can maybe make, like, fire essence, which would charge your fire spells, but I feel like that would be getting too confusing. I like Thaumcraft, but I will say Thaumcraft had a lot going on. I don't know. What do you guys think? What was your favorite, like, onboarding experience in a mod? Like, was it Thaumcraft, right? Like, you know, kind of, was it like Ars Magica, right? You mine, like, the Vintium ore to get Vintium dust, and then you can use that Vintium dust was, like, super important. You could find, like, some amber blocks, right? You'd get your amber, and basically, right, it was like Vintium dust and amber, and then you could combine those ingredients to, like, make all the basic crap you need to get started. But, you know, what that did is it required you to go and mine and find these ores in the wild. Like, should I finally embrace my own kind of world gen, and then you find my magic ore, whatever it is, to get this dust? Or is there, like, another method that would be better? Right? Like, you know, like, you're not going out looking for the magic ore, but yeah, let's pull out, I guess we could pull out, like, some crystals, right? Crystal. I'll probably do something with runestones. I'm gonna bring the world magic system from Rustbound over. Like, that's definitely happening. All right, so we got something like this and this, right? Throw that down. Let's use the paintbrush. We'll do like a 40 by 40 area. Cuboid. And let's get some creative. There we go. Make a nice nice platform. And I can shut that back off. Oh, I gotta get whoops. Gotta go into here. Oh, actually in equipment. Harmony. Here we go. There we go. And over here, I'll just start, right? We got that. We got that. We got that. We got that. How about we settle on a sort of dust? You can make a dust catcher. I think introducing ore is invasive in World Gen. I would agree with you. I definitely would agree with you. See, the problem is, it's like, how much of the dust are you going to need? You know, like, how much are you gonna need? I mean, if you think like Botania, right? Like Botania, they have like your flower. You put your flower down, and maybe it's the flower that looks for like sources of fire, right? And it checks the area around it, and it kind of collects all of that stuff, right? And then it creates the mana and then you can have that link over and into your mana pool or whatever. You know what I mean? But that's like the main way to like generate stuff, right? It's all like you place something in the world and then it looks around it and takes what it can. So if I'm creating a dust, how do you get that dust? Assuming that, you know, you're in Minecraft, right? Like I can piggyback it off of harvesting things, right? So like if you harvest like flowers, maybe you could mill down flowers into whatever this dust is, a strange dust. Right? Like it could be a byproduct of you already mining ores, and maybe, you know, a better ore will have a better, you know, a more of the dust. But I don't want it to be like I don't want the dust to be like the main thing. I want it to be like in the beginning you'll use the dust, right? But then once you have everything set up, you create the next thing, and then you're making like whatever the advanced thing is, you know? Like it's not like, you know, dust doesn't have to, you know, be from now where you need only a couple to being like tier 3 where you need stacks of 64 to do the same thing. I'm not thinking of a regular dust. I'm thinking His Dark Materials kind of dust. I don't know what His Dark Materials is. Is that a book or something, or another game? I mean, we're talking about an item object that can trigger like magic, right? That you would use in magic. You could call it dust. You could call it ash. You could call it stones, right? It could be a mana stone. It could be a, you know, living twig. Like whatever it is, right? It's going to be a primary component in early magic, and its purpose is going to be in that early magic. And ideally, if you have enough, you know, of like, you know, enough obelisks or whatever you needed for that building block, you don't necessarily have to have more. Like if you do have an abundance, I will like maybe allow you to burn it, right, for like additional mana, but it's not going to be the primary way, right? Like it's going to be 1/5 of like whatever the next tier, 1/4 to 1/5 of the power of like whatever the next tier would be. That's the idea, right? Like this is going to get you your basic staff, and then I want you to like be able to upgrade from there. But the question is, how, like, what's that gameplay loop look like? Is this something that you mill, something that you make, something that you find? I don't want it to be an item drop from a creature, right? I don't want to put in brand new creatures right off the bat. Kind of like what I did with elementals, right? Like, I don't want to put that in immediately. I do eventually want, like, you know, creatures like dragons and stuff, wyverns, and I want you to fly on them, of course. But that shouldn't be, like, a core... That should be, like, bonus loot, right? Like, if you find one of the creatures, that should be, you know, bonus. I want you to be able to, like, work towards, like, yeah, you know, I got this, and I'm burning this, and it's creating this, and I'm, you know... Phil Pullman wrote a series of books called His Dark Materials. Really good books. There's a TV series now, too. In a singular movie, don't watch the movie. It's fragmented. And that dust is ethereal. You can't see or touch it without help. So, why don't I do something like this? Let me think. I want my own kind of crystals. I'm thinking these 3 things are going to be, you know, or really it's just these 2 things are going to be primary. Let's put this down first. Let's assume you built this out of regular items. You don't have any magic stuff, right? You basically build your obelisk out of regular stone. Just an entry-level thing. I probably won't make it as big as this. It may be like a little single block thing. Like your own, like a magic furnace, right? It could be like a magic furnace, something basic. And for now, let's just say, for the sake of argument, you put coal in it, and it burns the coal, generating either generating mana or, you know, this ash or dust. And maybe it could burn more than coal, right? Like maybe any fuel source, right? Let's just say any fuel source. That way it's not just regular, right? That way that's your onboarding. I don't have to worry about what you get from like a seed, or you harvest a flower and you got like one thing of magic mana petal or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this right here is like your initial generator. It's kind of slow. Starts generating the magic item that you would need. I could make a block that you could then maybe put that byproduct on, like put it in, and it would start maybe growing mana crystals, like all around it. Could be something like that. Or maybe not all around it, maybe just from the top. Right? That way there's progression, right? You have this entry-level thing, and then you use it in this thing, right? This thing that you can make maybe with some of the ash, right? And then now this is like a furnace or something, or, you know, some kind of like generator for crystal, because there's going to be crystals in the world already. So I want to make a mana crystal. All right, and then at that point you would have both your, we'll say, you know, this is like your dust, and now you got this crystal. All right, and this is where the Magitech part can come in, right? This could be like kind of a Magitech-y feeling block, right? And then maybe for the third thing here, let me just pull out some other stuff. Here, we'll just grab something like this, grab this, just because these look unique. We'll grab this, right? That would be cool. Crystal-based magic goes for Magitech as well. Or maybe use vanilla crystals and charge them. Yeah, I mean, there could be, see, and that's the thing. There could be a way to, like, maybe if you take the crystals, because we don't know how abundant the crystals in-game are, and what their uses are going to be as well, right? So maybe you could see, like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of red crystals, right? And I can throw those in, and instead of coal that gives me a little bit, maybe that could give me, like, a burst of the material. You know what I mean? Like, gives me more of the material. And then maybe there's like some kind of feedback loop here, right? To where like maybe I could get this crystal, this mana crystal, and then I could break it down into the ash now that I'm growing it here, right? Like maybe, you know, maybe I still have to feed some of the dust into it, you know, like what kind of loop is that going to look like? And that's kind of what we're trying to figure out. Because if it's Magitech, I would think that, you know, you would want some kind of physical power source. And I'm thinking like Mana Stone, Mana Crystal, whatever I call it, right, would be what you would be burning as your catalyst to extract, magic energy from, to power any kind of Magitech kind of device, right? Eventually, you're gonna have, like the flying machine, right? Like that's gonna, like some kind of crystalline, fuel source would be ideal. And then maybe, when it's more advanced, you'll be able to liquefy that crystal into something that's more potent, and that would be like the next step, right? Something that would burn longer, give more energy, power, stuff that's maybe a little more expensive. Like a flying machine, right? A flying machine, you probably can't put a couple crystals in; it would burn through them too fast. Or maybe you can, right? But it would just burn through them really fast. But if you got, like the liquid mana crystal, maybe that would, that would be like, a longer lasting, kind of longer burn. Let's start writing some of these ideas down here. I'll just put it down here, just ideas, right? Mana crystal slash mana stone. I'll say like primary solid fuel source used to power Magitech devices. I feel like we got something going on here. I feel like we're close. We're close to some kind of like onboarding thing, right? Could use in-game crystals for fuel. This is going to right, depending on how abundant they are. We know there are different colors for the crystals, right? There's different colors. In the videos we saw, it looked like there were like huge like crystal blocks too. Could distill down the mana, I'll just say mana stones, into a more powerful fuel source. I could do something like that. See, I feel like you would want like a furnace kind of input then, and not really like what the obelisk is, right? I also like the idea of the arc-light furnace too. Let's kind of go up here. All right, so I like the idea of the arc-light furnace being this thing, right? Block. You throw Q, right? Items in and like convert, right? It converts them to something else, right? It converts them to something else. I really like this, you know, this kind of system. I like how it feels in the world. This right here would be equivalent to my furnace, right? So you would be throwing in whatever the blocks are into it, and it would be like converting your stuff. What if the arc-light furnace was one of the first things that you made? And then maybe you could throw things like even dirt and stone into it. And its source, like its pure job is to break down those kind of things at different rates, of course, right? Like if you throw in regular dirt, you know, there's going to be like a chance that you don't get anything from it. It's just going to destroy it, right? But if you throw in something more valuable, maybe there's a higher chance you'll get like whatever the ash is that you would get, plus some, right? Or whatever the dust is. You throw something valuable in there, like if you throw a mana stone in there, it would break it down into, you know, a handful of that ash. Possibly. Crystals have structure, but they are not very dense. What are you talking about? Crystals are like very dense. So you could use crystals for initial fuel. Breaks it down into crystal, sand, dust, and then condenses it for a more dense fuel source, and maybe even pressurizes it even further for an ultra dense fuel source. Read the damn chat, you monster. See, whatever this is, it needs to... A lot of good ideas. How's it gonna How's it gonna feel? How's this gonna work? This is a tough one. This is tough. This is tough. This is tough. Because we're also speculating, right? So this could change. This could change. I know there's some things here, right? Crystals are not dense. They have a molecular structure. The fact that they are a solid means that they are already going to be pretty dense. Crystal is a very inert thing. Like, and I guess it's not really about like density, right? I guess specifically if you're thinking of density, then you know something like a metal, right, is going to have a higher density. I'm talking about if we are talking about like a solid, liquid, gas kind of thing, the solid's going to be something that's going to be considered a more dense product than a liquid of the same material versus a gas of the same material, right? That's what I'm thinking of. And I don't want to use, like, if I use the in-game crystals, I don't know how abundant they're going to be. I don't know if they're, like, if the red crystals are like fire crystals, right? Because we haven't seen any, like, names for anything. Like, they had blue crystals. I saw yellow crystals. I don't know if those, like, you know, go along with, like, maybe elements that they are already bringing into the game when they bring in their magic system fully. Right, so then what would something like that look like? You know, like do I piggyback off? Like is the crystal generation enough to where it's like Thaumcraft, right? With the Viz crystals? In which case all of this is fine, because then I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna look around in natural world gen and you're gonna harvest these crystals and you're gonna process those crystals like into your obelisk, right, to create the fuel source that you would use to power your magic stuff and to charge your staves and to cast your spells, right? All of this becomes a lot more fluid if that is the case. If that's not the case, I will need a plan B. I think that's what we're trying to rely on now, is like what the plan B looks like. Is it going to be a magic plant? Is it going to be like Riftbloom? You know, but maybe, you know, I have some kind of like decomposer or something you throw random junk into, and you have a chance of getting, you know, like whatever the primary item is that you would then burn, right? Some kind of recycler. You know, does the drop piggyback off of ore that already exists in the game, and you get like copper plus this, you know, residual magic residue, or, you know, is it a byproduct of smelting? Right? Could it be a byproduct of smelting? Because we don't know if there's any smelting, but we do know there's an anvil. Kind of seems like the crafting is going to be more Valheim style crafting. I haven't seen a single crafting table. Do I want like an essence system like I have in Rustbound? Right? Should there be an essence system, right? Light, neutral, dark essence? Like that isn't necessarily bad. It does make it more complex, right? Because if that's a fuel source, now I'm creating 3 types of fuel. And how are you going to link stuff together? Should you be using like the ley line system and a resonator and like linking this to this and this to that? Or should it be like, I feel like it should be different than linking like that. I feel like it should be different. It would be a lot easier if it was just like a physical fuel, you put it in the fuel slot and it goes, and then, but then like what does that mean for like automation? Do I really have to like make pipes? Like this is not going to be more tech mod than it is magic. I don't want to make sorting pipes. I don't want to make a storage system, parsers, right? Belts that like channel items from here to there. I'm not doing anything like that. That's not what's going to happen. Other people, that's like a completely different mod. Like my goal is I want you to cast spells, right? Like that's the main thing, but I want it to be like a Magitech kind of feel, right? I want you to be able to make some stuff like the flying machines and you know, whatnot. Yeah, true, we have no information. You can make your own crystals, but use vanilla crystals to create a harvester that grows the magic ones. Yeah, I mean, at that point, though, it doesn't have to be vanilla crystals that would make it, right? Like, I could distill down, maybe, you know, breaking down vanilla crystals will give you more of the reagent it takes to grow your own magic crystals. All right? Like, maybe something like that, some kind of, like, magic crystal generator. And then, but then, you know, it would kind of grow like a plant. So you would be growing a magic plant pretty much, but that's in the shape of a crystal. Nah, been there, done that. Try something new until you change your mind. Yeah. I like the idea of the essence. I don't think I want to do light, neutral, dark. There's part of me that's like the Devouring Void. I really like the Devouring Void. You know, I like how each one generates essence. But I could also add a Devouring Void that is just like another variant, right? Maybe the Obelisk is like the slow one, right? And then you can make a Devouring Void, and that feeds off of the life energy of a creature, right? Or maybe you could throw food, right? Maybe you could just throw food down and it will suck up the food, you know, and then break that matter down into, you know, this world magic, you know, essence, whatever, this liquid power, magic power that you would use to like charge your staves and stuff. But it's just a different way, a specialized way of breaking down specific things, right? Maybe there's one that, like, if it's around a bunch of trees, right, it could, like, you know, actual, like, generated, you know, trees, not you placing wood. Maybe you could, like, parse that out around it, plus the flowers, plus, you know, whatever's around it, and then slowly, you know, pull mana from that environment. You know, again, and it's all the same kind of mana, it's just different ways of doing it. I could make one where it needs fire, right? So if you have, like, open flames, or if you put it near lava, right, it could be generating this mana from that lava. And then that mana, right, that liquid mana, I mean, I would have to find a way to move it, right? Right now, like, I mean, if you think of it, it would be like if I had my essence, but I didn't have light, neutral, dark. It was just essence. And then maybe, you know, like the battery lacrima to, like, move the essence from here over to here. I think Botania does something where it's like, it's a bucket, isn't it? It's like a bucket that you put down. The flowers around it are like generating the essence, and then it can see the bucket and it's giving, right? It directs the essence from that generating plant into that big bowl, right? And that can hold a lot of the liquid mana. And then if you want to move that over to the bowl over here, you could, like, drop the tablet into it, right? And put it in, like, the siphon mode or whatever, kind of like what I have with this, right? With, like, the, you know, the siphon. And then, you know, that tablet, like, the tablet will, like, suck up the mana, then you can pick it up and move it, and you know what I mean? Like, I like how all of that stuff exists in the world and not on you. You know? I like that part of things. But I don't want to take just from that system. I want to make something kind of new. And that being said, I mean, there's nothing wrong with me looking at Rustbound here and getting ideas from that, because I'm telling you right now, the Arclight Furnace, that's gonna be a thing in the new mod. I really like the, you know, you throwing the item in, and then, like, the burning energy around it. I just don't know how you're gonna burn that energy. I don't know how you are going to power your devices, and I don't know how you get that fuel, right? That once that gameplay loop's figured out, you can start piecing ideas onto that as the basis, right? But it's got to be that tight gameplay loop, right? I get a fuel, you know, something that generates the fuel, something that burns the fuel, right? So I would need something that would generate, maybe transport, store, and use. And I don't think I want to call it mana. I think I'm going to call it something like Magica, Essence, something. I'm not going to call it Viz. But I just need something there, right? Something there. And also, I like the idea of this time, whatever it is, right? Like, maybe you build some kind of, like, multi-block structure. And then you, like, cast... oh, that's a good point. Am I going to have Transmutation as, like, a trigger spell? What's the trigger going to be? I could bring Transmutation in. I do like Transmutation. But you do whatever it is, right? Whatever the catalyst is, and bam. Like, I like the idea of, like, you have, like, a battery for all this stuff, right? But then how would you link it all together? Do I have a resonator, and you can just, you know, and I maybe expand it so it's not just a 1-for-1. You could hook up, like, multiple things to, like, a source. Do you not have to hook anything up? Can you just have a mana battery around, and it can do a check, you know, within an area around it to see, oh, there's something here I could provide, you know, essence to. Right? And it just kind of links together without you having to be like, click this and click on this, and now the link is done. Like, how do other mods do this? Right? Like, I think Botania has something where it's like the little repeaters and stuff, right? And then you would have your flower, you would have like your bowl thing, right? You'd have your bowl. And then like over here, right, you would have like, you know, your repeater, and it has like the little holes on each side. And then you link this to this, right? So then you'll start to see the energy beam shooting out of here, and then like connecting into this, right? And now the essence is linked over here from here to here, right? And then you can have like another, that repeater can click on like this, right? The final product, and you know, and then you link those two things together, so it's like a chain going from here to here to here. It's a tough one. It's tough. Like, what are you gonna do? Because all these ideas could be great, right? Like, they could all be fun. And I think it's going to be a difference of opinion for people liking one or over the other. And whatever it is, I don't want it to be super time consuming either. Like, you should put some effort in, like in the beginning, you know, when you're learning stuff, it's going to take you longer. But like, once you start to have materials, then it becomes less demanding, right? Like, once maybe if I do make a generator and you just throw random shit into it, maybe that doesn't have a shelf life that takes you all the way through to like end mod stuff. Maybe that's a good backup plan, you know, if you run out of some of the other stuff. But you know, or like maybe the obelisk, right? You put the fuel in. Here, let's unlock magic so I can actually open up menus and stuff here. Where is it? There it is. Boom. I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of ideas. Just gotta iron out some of these ideas. More I think about it, the easiest way to like onboard this is to have your generator. And assuming that, you know, if you are getting tier 1 stuff, like tier 1 blacksmithing, I have a feeling that coal is going to be a very easy thing to find in Hytale. And then making charcoal, right? Like, that's going to be a very easy thing to do. But maybe that's the entry-level thing to put into something like this to at least start generating some kind of ash or some kind of dust. What about magic chalk? What about that whole system too? Like how is rituals? Maybe some of this stuff should be a little more ritual based. That would add more options. Be able to get like the magic chalk early. Maybe I could put in a system. I don't know if I could put in a system exactly like this. There's probably something. There's probably some way to do it. Right? Where you hold a hotkey and like maybe it's just like a circle and you pick like, you know, what you want to, the main symbol you want to draw. But I don't think there's going to be a highlight system I could piggyback on in Hytale. So rituals, I mean, rituals could be... I don't know. I feel like maybe rituals should come a little later. Like I shouldn't give you like magic chalk stuff in the beginning. Maybe you should be like maybe, you know, at least going this far, right? And like maybe growing your own like mana crystals, mana stones, whatever I'm going to call them. Mana stone, greater mana stone, superior mana stone. I could go that route. But then if I do something like that, then I'm throwing out like the Botania like liquid. You know, like the liquid mana, right? Because I need to decide on, is this going to be a liquid? I guess the transport of the material and energy. I don't think I have a good answer right now for it. I don't think I do. Something that I think I'm just going to end up having to do make a snap decision on. I'm gonna have to decide. And I have to decide, like, am I gonna have like magic wood? Like, how do I get magic wood? Do I have to do something? Like, do I get magic wood by going this far and then planting a sapling or something? And then having to use the dust on the sapling to, like, convert it to, like, a magic tree, a magic sapling? You know, or should you be finding some magic trees in the world gen? See, I would hesitate to do that because I don't think I want to touch world gen again. Right, so this could be like the sapling, and then you get that magic wood, and then that's how you can make your staff, your basic staff. But then I would need a way for you to get spells. Right, so see, like, everything kind of builds off of it. If I could come up with, like, a very basic, yeah, you do this, you get this, and you get this, right? Like, the core, like, the fundamentals. I think it'll be a lot faster. It'll be like a snowball. And I think what I'm gonna do is do some research for, like, what other mods do. Like I said, I know how, like, Ars Magica does it. Thaumcraft, right? Like, I know some stuff from Thaumcraft, right? Thaumcraft is a little more, like, alchemical in nature, right? Because you kind of, like, distill stuff down, like, you break things down into, like, primary components. I thought about it. I don't think I want something that complex. I don't want, like, you know, 512 different types of Viz essence, right? And then you scanning all these blocks. Like, I don't want a scanner because I hear stories about, like, you know, the creators of the friggin' mod. And, like, how that is, like, the single biggest regret that they had was having that friggin' thermometer. So I don't want to make the same kind of mistake. And it doesn't have to be that complex. Like, maybe I can have, like, runes, and depending on, like, the different type, like, schools, right? Fire, necromancy, or darkness, whatever. Nature. I'm assuming the game would have fire, lightning, poison, right? Because we saw the poison spell. Maybe ice. I wouldn't expect a lot of elements, though. So I could incorporate those elements, plus add, you know, like nature or whatever, couple more of my own. Like nature, darkness. I could, you know what? Thinking of the different generators, I could have it to where, like, maybe for the crystal, you don't really grow a crystal. Like, or, you know, maybe something that could, like, grow the mana stones, but then something else where you place it down, right? And then you'll put, like, a mana stone on there, and then depending on, you know, what energy it's taking from the area, like, if there's magma and stuff around, it would start making, like, you know, fire elemental stuff, right? And then maybe that's how you could branch into the different stuff. Right, the different, like, spells and whatnot. Different energy types. And then you would use those crystals to make, you know, whatever the spells are for that school. I don't know. I'm kind of running out of ideas. I'm running out of ideas. I think I gotta mull it over. I think I need to watch some videos. Maybe that's what I'll do. I think I'm gonna watch some videos of, like, how other Magic mods are kind of onboarding you, and then see if any of those ideas can be used, or at least parts of those ideas that can be used. I don't want it to be purely plant-based. I know that. That's how Rustbound Magic is. And you know what? I think it works well for Rustbound Magic. I think the fact that you use the rifts to convert regular flowers and the rift anchors into getting your rift blooms, and then that is a primary thing that you farm. I think that's a solid choice. It's good for beginning. And then I like the idea of, like, you know, you could step through it, right? You can open up a rift near them to make them grow faster, right? Like, you have, like, the basic way of getting the material, but then as you get better, you can generate your material at a faster rate, right? Like seed drop rate chances, you can get a bunch of seeds now. You know, you can accelerate the growth to make it grow, like, 2 times faster. But you can't do that in the very beginning. So I think, you know what? I think we're going to find someone to raid. There we go. We're going to find someone to raid, and I need to look at videos. I need to look at what, like, the top Magic mods are in Minecraft. And then take a look at, like, again, their onboarding process. And then think about, like, different ways they're doing stuff. Like, you know, like, how do you get energy from point A to point B? How do you store energy? Is it going to be solid items? Is it going to be a liquid, right? Is it going to be, like, a gas that just kind of exists in the block, kind of like how I have the essence now? Like, it's not like a tangible thing you can grab and have in your inventory, unless it's in a lacrima, right? And stored energy. And even then, it's useless to you until you put it in another essence generator and then, like, feed that energy into it. So I don't know what it's gonna look like. I need some ideas. Oh, Wasteland Puppy's on. Yeah, we're gonna raid him. Awesome dude. Awesome dude. I'm gonna be changing up the Discord a little bit. I'm gonna make a Hytale section. I'm gonna move some of the channels into, like, a vintage story section. That way these discussions can kind of stay separate. But once I get, like, a primary, like, gameplay loop, I will be putting it in the Discord for people to you know, talk about it, pitch ideas. Yeah, it'll be good. All right, we're gonna do raid Wasteland Puppy TV. He's an awesome dude. We're gonna give him some love. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like this was good talk. Definitely was a good talk. I now know some things that I like don't want to do, which is just as important as knowing about the things that you want to do, right? Manaway, thank you for the ideas. We gotta keep churning this over. Gotta keep churning it over. Gotta see what comes out here. But we'll come up with something fun. And I gotta keep in mind the primary goal here isn't to create like machines and technology as much. It's going to be about spell casting and casting the spells and summoning minions and things like that, right? It's going to be a magic based kind of thing. But yeah, let's keep talking about it. I'll pop in whenever I see you online. Hopefully, Manaway, I will have better ideas on at least an onboarding ramp, a path forward, some primary systems that people would be interacting with. We're hoping. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I'll talk to y'all later. I'll peek at some systems. Maybe something can inspire. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do right now. Thank you, Mana. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye, everyone. Bye. See you later. Bye.